Hello, YouTube. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be doing a review on Frederic Malle music for a while. The perfumer, Carlos Benaim, and Frederic Malle is the creative director, obviously. Got the dry down right here, about 3 or 4 hours. Just gonna spray it. I always love the Frederic Malle sprayers. Frederic Malle has the best sprayers, I think, in the game. They get a nice wide spray, but then also very direct at the same time. And they shoot out a lot of juice too, man. And this stuff is juicy. It is the most juicy pineapple fragrance that you can think of. Now, I know that it mentions different notes online, but really I'm going to give you the notes that I smell, because regardless of the other notes that are in there, I don't want to paint a picture in your mind of, oh, I smell this note, but it's only because you know that note is in there and you don't necessarily pick it up on your own. But this fragrance, to me, I have a little, disclaimer. At first, I really didn't like it, and it had nothing to do with the pineapple, the ethyl maltol, the caramel note, or anything like that in here. But the biggest issue I had with this fragrance was the lavender. And the lavender in this is actually a great lavender. It's probably the best lavender fragrance that I have, or probably the best lavender fragrance I've ever smelled. And the thing is with lavender, it's not the fact that I don't... it's not, sorry, I got a text. It's not the fact that I don't like this fragrance, and not necessarily the fact that I didn't like this fragrance. I just don't like the note of lavender. Now, I love it in here, but in general, I don't like lavender because there's so many cheap lavender fragrances out there that have really killed it for me. And man, I'm just not a huge fan of lavender. I'll say that. My grandmother doesn't like lavender. My whole family doesn't like lavender. Some people, they'll have the little lavender plug-in things with the lavender bathroom sprays. We don't. My whole family hates lavender. I don't like lavender. I'm not sure if it's a hereditary thing or whatever. But anyways, getting to the truth of the fragrance. And, I didn't like it at first. A lot of people have mentioned this. It's taken a long time for them to get around to it because of a lot of the other reasons. But for me, it's just the lavender. I don't like lavender. But, oh man, when you spray it on, you get this warm, and I'm going to be talking about lavender a lot in this video because this is a pretty lavender-dominant fragrance. The lavender in this is the most realistic lavender I've ever smelt. Recently, I was blessed to be able to go to North Carolina to a vineyard, and they also had lavender there. I had a big field of lavender, and I was able to smell it and take the lavender and kind of crush it up in my hands and smell it, and it really made me have a new appreciation for the note and a new appreciation for this. And lavender can kind of be warm and kind of be fuzzy when you touch it, and a little bit, warm feeling to the skin, and that is exactly the lavender I get in here. It's a warm, fuzzy lavender. Almost has a nutty earthiness to it as well. Not necessarily like a walnut. Well, kind of like a walnut, but not like a peanut or salted peanuts or anything like that, but just a really warm, kind of earthy, not earthy as in green, but an earthy lavender color hue that you kind of, I guess, put into perspective. And then you get this, and then when the lavender kind of dies down and becomes a first or second note that you can kind of smell, and then the pineapple comes out. This is not an Aventus clone. This smells nothing like Aventus or any other pineapple fragrance for that matter. The pineapple in this is not stale. I think the lavender in Aventus is stale smelling. It's very one-dimensional. You look at a picture of a pineapple, like if you say, you go to a swingers campsite or like a swingers apartment complex, and you'll see the pineapples. That is not this pineapple. This pineapple is a juicy pineapple. When I see this pineapple, I imagine sitting down, you just got done chopping up wood. You just kind of sit down, you have a pineapple, you take your knife, you cut it open, and you eat it sloppily, man. You just eat it sloppily. You dig into it, you chew into it. You're kind of obnoxious when you bite into it, and you get that, the pineapple juice kind of running down your face a little bit and gets in your beard. It kind of masks the smell of the fish that you just got done eating that morning for a while. And even though there's no fishy smell in this fragrance. And that's what I get. That's what I get towards the mid, going into the base. It starts out with this big, full, fuzzy, warm lavender, and then you have all these other notes in the background kind of going on and supporting to help to push that lavender out. And then the lavender kind of comes back into a second note. You kind of, smell it second when you smell it on your skin. And then the pineapple kind of becomes one with the lavender. And then this caramel, ethyl maltol, sugary, warm, borderline rosy and raspberry note comes out. Musky. And it's sexy in the air when it comes up, because it leaves like the impression of freshly cleaned skin, not an iso-e note, not that synthetic woody iso-e note. It's really not a woody. It's not a woody fragrance. This isn't a woody fragrance. And then it comes up in that caramel and the pineapple and the lavender and the ethyl maltol, the sugary notes, just kind of all blend and intermingle together. And it really does leave the impression of this skin that has perfume sprayed on it, and it's pushing off the skin. It's lively, and it mixes in the air, and it's very sexy. Anytime I've wore this, I had to, kind of take double takes all day. Is that me smelling this good? Let me smell myself again. And this fragrance lasts all day. I am a heavy sprayer. I know this to a lot of people, it doesn't necessarily matter how long a fragrance lasts, but when it comes to that 150, 125 plus mark, I want my fragrance to last. If I spend $30 on a fragrance, I'm not going to expect it to last all day. But the more, I spend, I want it to last. And this lasts a really long time. I think I got like 10, 12 hours out of it, and it was still projecting at like the 10, 12 hour mark. And then at that time, my nasty hind-end went and took a shower. But really just a lovely fragrance to smell, honestly. And like I said, I think a lot of people have an issue with this fragrance because they don't like the way the pineapple and the lavender mix together. And the thing is that's why I like it, because the lavender and the pineapple mix together. If this was just a 100% lavender fragrance with some cheap musks in it and some bergamot, I would hate this stuff. I would absolutely hate it. I would throw it out the door. But it's not. And every time I tried it in store, the lavender was what got me. I loved the dry down. I hated the lavender. And finally, I've came around to it. If you make yourself wear something long enough, you'll eventually come around to it. But absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to say this is a masterpiece by any means. I'm not going to say this is the best fragrance I've ever smelt. But it definitely is one of my... It's definitely up there, honestly. It's up there. I really like it. I think it's going to work great for this fall and weather season. Definitely get out there and wear it. Not just, sit in an office and wear your scent. Let it heat up with your body. Let it die down with your body. And oddly enough, even though I'm sure there's a lot of synthetics in here, it doesn't really come off as synthetic. And that's the thing about a lot of Frederic Malles that I like, is that Frederic Malle is able to be such an inspiring creative director and use such great perfumers. It's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to get that out and make it make sense. But he uses such great perfumers and such high quality ingredients, whether they be natural or synthetic. His fragrances don't come off as synthetic. Now, there's synthetic as, high quality synthetics. There's synthetic as it just smelling synthetic, and cheap synthetics. And there's no cheap synthetics in here at all. And it doesn't come across as synthetic at all. It actually comes across somewhat natural, very natural. The lavender I know smells 100% natural. It really smells like you're just standing in a field. You're standing in a field somewhere, and you're walking through there, and you take the lavender and you just crush it up in your hand and smell it, and then you continue walking, and then you take some pineapple and you just eat it, really sloppily, and let the juice run down your face, and you don't care to clean yourself up, and then you go back and you oddly enough you take some caramel and you just rub it on your skin. That's what I get from this fragrance. Works together very well. And hope everyone has a great day. And shout out to Robert from Fragrance Journey 01. He was the one who requested this review, so shout out to Robert. And hopefully this helps someone in any way to smell this fragrance. I'm not necessarily sure how the name actually comes into play. Music for a While, I guess it's supposed to be like a music festival concert type of feel, but I really don't get that. I guess I could, but I'm not going to go any further. I don't want to drag out a video. So hope everyone has a great day.